Promoting dialogue. It's midday in Dakar, 1 p.m. in Nigeria. Good afternoon and welcome to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world at wadr.org. First, our top stories. Senegal unveils a sweeping reform to rationalize the para-public sector, slashes government spending. Reaction trails the resignation of Benin's former president Yayi and son from opposition Democrats Party.
One
does not practice politics in the shadow of their father. Chabi Yayi is mature enough to make his own decisions. President Boni Yayi represents the past, the setting sun, while Chabi Yayi is the future, the rising sun.
ECOWAS conducts a fact-finding mission in Cape Verde ahead of legislative and presidential elections. And Liberia's land authority warns of land crisis amid escalating disputes nationwide.
So we need to have the candidate deed, gender deed, clan deed to be established. If we don't do that tomorrow, there will be a heavy problem.
Please stay with us for details of these stories and more.
On the news, this is Sankulu Jibril Janko.
Many thanks for joining us. We begin in Benin, where a terrorist group attacked the Beninese armed forces in the commune of Karimama in the far north of Benin. According to multiple media sources, the attack allegedly targeted the barracks of Beninese soldiers deployed in this border area with Niger and Burkina Faso. While the number of casualties remain unknown, the group for the support of Islam and Muslims claimed responsibility for the attack. The jihadist group asserts that it has taken control of the military position, borne equipment and seized equipment belonging to the Beninese forces. For now, no official confirmation has been given by the Beninese authorities, either on human toll or on exact circumstances of the attack. Still in Benin, but regarding politics, reactions continue to pour in following the resignation of former President Boni Yayi and his son Chabi Yayi from the main opposition party, the Democrats. Although no official statement has fully clarified the reasons behind their departure, political actors and analysts are weighing in on the potential implications. Christopher Aticho has the details in this report.
Within the leadership of the Democrat Party, caution appears to be the prevailing tone. Some party officials describe the move as a personal decision by Boni Yayi that deserves respect, while downplaying its possible impact on the party's cohesion and future prospects. Political analyst Lukman Tijani believes the resignation may signal a deliberate step to make way for a new generation of opposition leaders.
I believe President Boni Yayi would benefit from going further in this current approach by embracing a role of elder wisdom, not only for his party, but for the Beninese people as a whole. We are currently at a turning point characterized by a generational transition. As new political actors are called upon to lead our country, they need a solid set of references and guides to turn to whenever challenges arise.
Beyond its symbolic weight, observers say the move marks the end of a significant chapter in Benin's political history. Boni Yayi, long regarded as the principal rival of President Patrice Talon, represented a distinct political current with a long electoral base. For Bertin Covey, a political actor aligned with the presidential majority, the departure of the Yayi family from the Democrats opens up several possible scenarios.
One does not practice politics in the shadow of their father. Chabi Yayi is mature enough to make his own decisions. President Boni Yayi represents the past, the setting sun, while Chabi Yayi is the future, the rising sun. This very departure qualifies him to carry the Yayi legacy forward. Former President Boni Yayi eventually understood that it is better to serve in the Council of Elders rather than remain in the political arena where younger generations might treat him with lack of respect.
Questions remain over the medium and long-term implications, whether this Is a strategic withdrawal, a political rupture, or the beginning of a new political realignment?
Our Cotonou correspondent Aziz Adamsile's report presented by Christopher Aticho. ECOWAS pre-electoral fact-finder mission has begun high-level consultations with authorities and political stakeholders in Cape Verde ahead of the country's forthcoming legislative and presidential elections. ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa is leading the delegation to the West African state. It is mandated to assess the pre-electoral environment and support efforts towards peaceful, transparent and credible polls. Augustine Coley tells us more.
The mission commenced its engagement with a meeting at the ECOWAS permanent representation in Praia before holding talks with Cape Verde's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jado Laramento. Discussions focused on the objectives of the mission, the country's electoral framework, and overall preparedness for the upcoming elections. The delegation also visited the Multinational Maritime Coordination Center, Zone G, a strategic operation hub for maritime security under the ECOWAS Yaoundé architecture. The visit was aimed at gaining broader insight into the governance and security environment within which the elections would take place. In the days ahead, the ECOWAS team is expected to meet with election management bodies, political parties, civil society organizations, regulatory institutions, and international partners. The mission's objective is to evaluate the political climate and contribute to conditions necessary for peaceful and credible elections in line with ECOWAS protocols on democracy and good governance. Legislative elections in Cape Verde are scheduled for May 17, 2026, while the presidential election is set for November 15, 2026. A second round will be held on November 29, 2026, if no candidate secures an outright majority.
Augustine Coley filed that report. In Senegal, the Council of Ministers has approved a sweeping communication reform to rationalize the para-public sector. The adoption took place during the council meeting on Wednesday, March 4, 2026. This ambitious transformation, presented by Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, aims to modernize national administration, significantly reduce state spending, and strengthen overall governance. Ousmane Omar reports.
The plan follows a comprehensive analysis by a dedicated working group tasked with identifying inefficiencies across state-owned structures. The team has proposed the immediate abolition of 19 public entities. These specific bodies accounted for over 28 billion CFA francs in budget allocations in 2025, with an annual payroll exceeding 9 billion CFA francs for only 1,000 officers. Furthermore, the dissolution will address a combined debt of 2.6 billion CFA francs recorded as of late 2024. Beyond these closures, the Prime Minister's roadmap includes the repositioning of 10 additional entities. The process will involve redefining their core missions, updating legal frameworks, and improving intervention models to eliminate overlapping skills. According to Prime Minister Sonko, the ultimate goal is to foster greater synergy and coherence in public action while optimizing public finances. The financial impact of these measures is expected to be substantial, with the government projecting cumulative net budgetary savings of at least 55 billion CFA francs over the next 3 years. However, Sonko emphasized that these cuts must be matched by rigorous improvements in governance, specifically targeting the control of staff numbers, the management of the wage bill, and the harmonization of pay scales across the sectors. To ensure the successful rollout of these changes, an interministerial committee will soon be established to pilot the implementation of the reform.
Ousmane Omar reporting.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Meanwhile, in Guinea, the mother and elder sister of a former minister and personal advisor to ex-president Alpha Condé, Tipu Camara, were abducted by armed men on Tuesday night. The incident comes amid a rising number of disappearances across the country. The situation is joint condemnation from human rights organizations in Guinea. Abdullah Hassan reports.
According to witnesses, the attackers broke into the family home of Tipu Camara around 9 p.m., seizing his elderly mother, Haja Asmao Jallo, and his older sister, Haja Binta Camara, before taking them to an unknown location. No official information has been provided about their whereabouts. In recent months, Several high-profile disappearances have been reported in Guinea, including activists of the National Front for the Defense of the Constitution, Foninke Mengi and Biloba, and journalist Habib Morane Kamara, whose families are still without news. Other notable cases include the abduction of El Haj Adama Keita, father of journalist Babila Keita, in September 2025, children of artist Eli Kamano in November 2025, and opposition figure Nene Osu Jallo in January 2026. Opposition leader Selu Dalen Jallo condemned the abduction of Tibu Kamara's family on his Facebook page, while the former aide, now in exile, vowed not to remain silent. National and international human rights organizations have called on the authorities to carry out independent and transparent investigations to locate the missing and hold the perpetrators accountable. The Guinean government, however, maintains it is not involved in the kidnappings, stating that investigations are opened in response to each disappearance.
A report from our Conakry correspondent, Channel Alpha Ibrahim Balde, voiced by Abdullahi Hassan. Now to security issues. Expectations are rising in Nigeria as Inspector General of Police Tunji Disu takes office and moves to reshape the country's security framework. These calls stem from neighborhood patrols to calls for state policing. Abuja correspondent Yechinu Saseto tells us more in this report.
The Inspector General of Police, Tunji Disu, has inaugurated a committee to examine and facilitate the implementation framework for state policing in Nigeria. The move comes amid sustained national debate on restructuring the country's security architecture to allow for more localized and responsive law enforcement. At the inauguration, the new IGP said the committee is expected to engage critical stakeholders, assess legal and operational implications, and develop practical guidelines for the implementation of state police structures.
Across the nation, we continue to confront involving security challenges. This requires innovative thinking, strategic collaboration, and a willingness to explore reform that will enhance our capability.
Disu noted that the initiative reflects the Nigeria Police Force's readiness to align with evolving security reforms and ensure that any transition to state policing is structured, lawful, and operationally sound.
In carrying out this assignment, your deliberations must be guided by professionalism, objectivity, and a clear appreciation of the unique complexity of policing in a diverse nation like our own.
Members of the committee are drawn from senior ranks within the force as well as legal and policy experts and are expected to submit recommendations to guide the next phase of implementation. For WADR, Yechinu Saseto in Abuja.
Elsewhere, the Liberian Land Authority warns that the country is on the brink of a deeper crisis as land disputes continue to escalate nationwide. The authority urges the House of Representatives to support urgent reforms in response to the growing crisis. It warns that unresolved land conflicts are threatening social cohesion and economic stability. WDR's Banjul, Monrovia correspondent Abraham Parker reports.
Liberia is grappling with a surge in land disputes, with increasing cases of demolition and enforced evictions reported in several communities. Recent demolition exercises in Saytime, as well as in Sinka, Caldwell, and New Georgia, in the capital Monrovia, highlight the scale of the problem and the growing tensions surrounding land ownership. Addressing members of the House of Representatives, the Deputy Chairman for Administration at the Liberia Land Authority, Joe Williams, attributed the crisis to unclear land boundaries and to weak land administration systems.
Take a bomb in Nima County. A bomb will go up between 2 to 3 years to 1 million people. And Nima go to 3 million. And we have a proper demarcation. They so treat the water, they wipe it up. So we need to have the county deed, gender deed, clan deed to be established. We need to establish our system. If we don't do that tomorrow, there will be a heavy problem.
The authority is now calling for immediate legislative backing to undertake a nationwide boundary demarcation exercise and to strengthen the institutional capacity. Officials warn that without coordinated national action, land-related conflicts could further displace vulnerable communities, with many Liberians already rendered homeless amid the protracted disputes. For Newslink on WADR, Abraham Parker, Monrovia.
You're listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio 94.9 FM Dakar, Senegal, online at wadr.org. Here's a reminder of our top stars. Senegal unveils sweeping reform to rationalize para-public sector, slashes the government spending. Reaction trails the resignation of Benin's former President Yai and son from opposition Democrats Party. ECOWAS conducts a fact-finding mission in Cape Verde ahead of legislative and presidential elections. And Liberia's land authority warns of land crisis amid escalating disputes nationwide. Still ahead, we have press review, guest interview, and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
We turn to Ghana, where the government has laid the Community Service Bill 2026 before Parliament. It seeks to reform the country's sentencing system and tackle overcrowding in prisons. The proposed legislation introduces non-custodial sentencing for minor offences, allowing courts to assign community services as an alternative to imprisonment. WADR's Accra correspondent Nandi Tete reports.
Parliament has taken the first step towards considering a new legal framework aimed at expanding the use of non-custodial sentences for minor offences. The proposed Community Service Bill 2026 was presented for its first reading on Wednesday, March 4, by the Minister for Interior, Mohamed Mubarak Muntaka. The bill seeks to introduce alternative sentencing measures that would allow courts to assign community service instead of prison terms for certain minor offences.
It's basically to help us set up a framework to ensure that we decongest our prisons and we do not just sentence people for stealing banana and plantain, but rather get them to do community service that will enhance community unity and prevent repetition of minor offences just being in the prison.
Following the presentation, the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Bernard Ahiafo, referred the bill to the relevant committees for further scrutiny and consideration.
Honourable members, the Community Service Bill 2026 is duly read for the first time and referred to a Committee on Defence and Interior with the leadership of Constitutional Legal joining them to consider same and report to the House.
Legal analysts have long advocated the introduction of non-custodial sentencing as part of broader criminal justice reforms. They argue that such measures could help ease severe overcrowding in Ghana's prisons while reducing the cost burden on the state. For WADR, Nadede Tete, Accra.
The Ivorian government has set the price for a kilogram of cocoa at 1,200 CFA francs for the current mid-crop marketing season. This represents a significant drop from the farm gate price of 2,800 CFA francs established in October 2025. Authorities have attributed this sharp revision to ongoing volatility in the international market and structural constraints.
This is the Newspaper Review. Stay abreast and find out what the top stories are in your country.
This is the Newspaper Review.
The Newspaper Review.
We now rejoin Nadidi Tete in Accra for the press review.
Greetings, welcome to the Newspaper Review segment. We'll start off with the Daily Graphic newspaper front page. 2 months after revised VAT, COVID-19 levy on invoices, flat rate also lingers. GRA tells consumers to insist paying only 20%. Also here, inflation improves to 3.3% in February, its 14th straight decline. And 52 students receive President's Independence Day awards. Daily Guide newspaper front page, government lays community service bill in parliament, and man jailed 3 years for illegal hunting, and EPA intercepts 1,070 champagne machines at Tema Port. The Chronicle newspaper, 50 oil companies owe government 987 million Ghana cedis in taxes. GRA promises to recover the money, and minority will fight for the welfare of cocoa farmers. That's according to Kojo Opong in Nkrumah. The Archives newspaper front page, Volta Regional Hospital declared a death trap. No ICU and surgical wards as facility deteriorates with leaking and smelly rooms. Also here, Ghana Armed Forces Critical Care and Emergency Hospital increases dialysis fees to 700 cedis. The National Enquirer, Ghana at 69, building prosperity, restoring hope. Also here, 1.5 billion Ghana cedis in assets frozen under Operation Recover All Loot. That's according to Felix Kwachifusu, government spokesperson. The Daily Post newspaper, Ghana Medical Trust Fund swears in entity tender committee, charges members to uphold integrity and protect public purse. That's it for the newspaper review segment. Is back to you in the studio.
Many thanks to Nadidi Tete for the press review from Ghana.
Politics,
Analysis on major news,
social matters, and all. This is The Guest.
The guest interview focuses on Benin, where reactions are pouring across the political landscape following the resignation of former President Boni Yayi and his son Chabi Yayi from the main opposition party, the Democrats. Although no official statement has fully clarified the reasons behind their departure, political actors and analysts are weighing in on the potential implications. Our guest is Morgan Azogba, a geopolitical consultant who weighs in on the matter.
This is a news that has probably surprised few of the Beninese citizens and not surprised at all most of them. It is important to clarify that President Boni Yayi joined the political party, the Democrats, far later than the existence or the creation of the political party. So he's not definitely a major founder of the party, but he became the president of the political party far later on when the leaders have agreed upon the fact that he might be the most suitable person to stand as the leader of the party.
Does the resignation of Boni Yayi pose any major effect or negative impact on the party's image or in terms of its influence in Benin's politics?
It is clear that being a political party that might be struggling with finances in the upcoming months, probably years, it's a very negative consequence when it comes to the management and especially the way political parties function currently within the country and has been functioning so far. It's something that has always involved a lot of finances, especially to motivate the members to stand. So this is the major consequence. But when you take aside this consequence, there have been quite a lot of criticism about the way the political party has been led. So if the leader is resigning, definitely it is not that much of a problem if we have to agree upon the relevance and the quality of the leadership and based on the result we have on the ground. For a leader to have been leading a political party that has been facing severe situation that did not allow the political party to run for any of the elections.
The resignation of Boni Yayi comes after the party's failure to meet the requirements in registering its presidential candidate. As a result, the party will not take part in the upcoming presidential election. Could this be a factor that resulted into the party's internal wrangling, leading Boni Yayi to resign?
You know, what we have witnessed within the country as far as this political party is concerned is quite, troubling and appealing in the sense that we've had political parties members resign from this very political party and who are currently elected to the National Assembly, but not bearing this very political party name. They've moved to a different political party of the leading parties. And this is very much questionable because if the members, let's say the key members of this political party have been able to stand tall during the challenges that they face, we would have not be witnessing an absence of this political party when it comes to the election. So we had some issue. It wasn't just a matter of documentation when it comes to the rejection, if we can call it that way, but I believe it is not a rejection, but rather a failure of being able to participate. It has to do with the staff itself and the management. And this is why the former president Boni Yayi to resign.
Morgan Azagba, a geopolitical consultant. Well, in sports, the World Football Governing Body FIFA has confirmed the 6 nations that will compete in the FIFA Inter-Confederation Playoff Tournament for the final places at the 2026 World Cup. Among them is DR Congo national football team, which will represent Africa in the competition. The confirmation effectively ends hopes for Nigeria national football team of gaining a late route to the tournament after their appeal over a previous playoff match against DR Congo failed to change the outcome. FIFA says the playoff event will feature 6 teams: Bolivia, DR Congo, Iraq, Jamaica, New Caledonia and Suriname, all battling for the final 2 places at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The tournament is set to begin on March 26, with the winners securing the last tickets to the global competition, which will be hosted in Canada, Mexico and the United States. And that's it for Sport News. We've come to the end of this edition of Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Ismaila Kamara and Umu Danyogo for the technical assistance. Do interact with us via social media platforms, X, Instagram and Facebook at WADR English. Coming up next is WADR's Environment Program Enviroscope with Abdullahi Hassan. I am Sankula Jibril Janko. Good afternoon.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Niba County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Gulf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy